Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Celebration chase, and as Terry Biddlecombe pinpointed beforehand, McCoy is going like hell on Edredon Bleu to the first. Jumps it well from Cenkos in second. Fidalgo out wider in the noseband. Wider out in the Stars and Stripes, Flagship Uberalles, and Castle Prince is just the back marker. At the second, a bold jump by Edredon Bleu, almost too bold. He was up a long way from that fence and just got to the other side, Edredon Bleu. From Cenkos in second, Fidalgo in third, then Flagship Uberalles, and finally Castle Prince with a circuit of the course in front of them. Good pace being set by the 2000 champion chaser Edredon Bleu. Tony McCoy on the 288 winner mark for the season. Another record-breaking campaign. Cenkos in second, Fidalgo in third as they begin the run downhill. They're followed by Flagship Uberalles, winner of the Queen Mother champion chase at the festival, and last of the five is Castle Prince. Downhill to fence number 3, and approaching it, Edredon Bleu on the inside of Cenkos. Cenkos the better jump there, and Cenkos gets to the lead past Edredon Bleu, and then Fidalgo in third, Flagship Uberalles and Castle Prince. So Edredon Bleu certainly not having things his own way. Flagship Uberalles went off the favourite at 15-8 as they run down the back straight, and it's Cenkos in front now. From Edredon Bleu is being driven along by Tony McCoy, Fidalgo, Flagship Uberalles and Castle Prince. The next is an open ditch, and Cenkos running very sweet in front here. 5 lengths now to Edredon Bleu as they head towards the water jump, and then they've got the railway fences 3 in a line. Edredon Bleu under quite heavy pressure now, clearing the water. Cenkos jumping well, 3 or 4 ahead of Edredon Bleu, with Fidalgo and Flagship Uberalles both moving up now, and Flagship Uberalles is just being niggled slightly, but he's travelling better than he was at Cheltenham in the champion chase. Meanwhile, over the first of the railway fences, Castle Prince has been well dropped. The middle of the 3 on the far side, and it's Cenkos who takes it in front. Flagship Uberalles out wide of Fidalgo and Edredon Bleu. The last on the far side, good jump by the leader Cenkos in the hands of Barry Geraghty. Flagship Uberalles and Fidalgo both being pushed along in second and third. Edredon Bleu is struggling now in fourth, and a long gap back to Castle Prince. Making the turn then for home, back towards the pond fence, which is 3 out. And Cenkos chased in second by Flagship Uberalles. He's won 3 Tingle Creeks here at Sandown. He loves the hill. In third is Fidalgo. Edredon Bleu still under pressure in fourth as they head towards the third last fence. Cenkos, Barry Geraghty on the left, Flagship Uberalles, Richard Johnson pushing away on the champion chaser. 3 out, Cenkos, another good jump there, and he's going to take a bit of passing is Cenkos as they run round the final corner, and Cenkos kicks again and kicks away from Flagship Uberalles. Fidalgo's been dropped. Edredon Bleu can't win. Here's the second last, Cenkos. He lands about 5 lengths ahead of Flagship Uberalles, who's going to have to dig very deep indeed. Fidalgo is in third place. Castle Prince is staying on to challenge Edredon Bleu. Meanwhile, up ahead, the final fence, Cenkos, he clears it. He's about 8 lengths ahead of Flagship Uberalles, who's leg weary in second. Then Edredon Bleu rallying, but up towards the hill, up towards the line, it's the spring horse. Cenkos springs in his heels today, and Cenkos wins the Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother celebration chase from Flagship Uberalles in second, Edredon Bleu third, Fidalgo 4, and just on their heels the rank outsider Castle Prince. Well, none the worst for his trip to Japan. For the Nakayama Grand Jump, Cenkos has won at 8-1 here, bounding along in the lead. Headed Edredon Bleu in the early stages after just 3 fences, and his jumping was very sure-footed from then on. It looked as though Flagship Uberalles might shake him up going towards the pond fence, but he kicked away again rounding the turn, and he was never going to be caught from then on.
Well, a really impressive and well-deserved victory this for Cenkos. He's had a hardish season. He's been over to Japan, and some of these have been, well, they've had kid glove treatment so far this year. Flagship Uberalles got close to him turning for home, but as they come down here, just 1 fence left to jump, Jim. It was all over, done and dusted. Yeah, the ground not so testing as champion chase day at Cheltenham, and he saw the distance out better.
really flew his fences. Barry Geraghty very positive on him. He seconded off Edredon Bleu down the far side. That old horse did well to run back into third. Big danger, Flagship 3 out. You saw from the second last he was in trouble, just clipped the top of the last. And John, this is probably the best performance he's ever put up.
There's no doubt about that, but as you said at Cheltenham in March, he ran one hell of a race. He led them a good gallop on very sticky ground. And to be fair to this horse, he's jumped better than anything else today. Flagship, Uberalles, Edredon Bleu and a few of them. This horse has got a much better cruising speed. When he went to Japan and did the best of the English horses, I asked Paul Nicholls about him and he said you want a really sharp horse to go out there and win that race. It was a £500,000 first prize. And he said something the likes of Armature would be good enough. But this horse was best of the English. He's got a more speed than a lot of these 2-milers. And he had them in trouble. He was able to jump better, had them in trouble from a long way from home.
So
Yes,
go on,
just
John.
the last from a different view. And again, I think Richard Johnson's hoping he's going to fluff his lines on the horse in front, but he doesn't do that at all. Shortens up, gets across it really quickly. And given a good ride by Barry Geraghty. He's had another wonderful season.
Every year I go to Japan, but I don't come back as fit and as fresh as that. Must be something in the sushi for that Cenkos, who's returned a screaming result for the bookmakers. 8-1, clear 4th favourite, Cenkos. Beats Flagship Uberalles, sent off the 15-8 favourite. Edredon Bleu was third at 5-2 for Dalco, 4th.